if you look at a lot of developing worlds in the country, you have numbers of populations between 50 and 70%, they're unbanked. It's 2022 and these people are still unbanked. They don't have access to a financial system. There is not financial inclusion for them, which is very dampening for their personal outlook, but also for the economies they're living in. And that is something where this technology can really come in and play a role.
Welcome to AssetRush Talk, where we talk with the pioneers of the financial industry. And today I'm here with Marc from BFI Capital Group. And Marc, please introduce yourself. And we are really curious to hear more.
Hi, Philip. Oh, very nice to be here. As you know, I'm Marc. I'm a partner at the BFI Capital Group. And as a group, we focus on quite a lot of things from, precious metals, stocks, traditional hedge funds. But where I currently am focusing on, it's also my personal passion, is the area of digital assets or crypto blockchain.
All right, fantastic. So now tell us a bit more about what drives you and why do you think you make a difference right now?
So what drives me, I think, well, on the one hand, on a personal note, it's always been fixing problems, creating benefits, but also on the technical side, I love to tinker. Starting like 15, 20 years ago, doing the first websites in CSS, HTML. Nowadays, it's going around crypto. So it's this tinkering with technology and applying it to real world problems. That is the one thing that also very much drives me.
So why BFI?
So with BFI, I think what really kind of sets us apart is, we're entrepreneurial problem solvers. And if you look at all the services in the company we built in the last 30 years, this has really originated with problems that we had, that we started to build and suddenly realized, hey, we can actually transport this out. So I think it's really that on the one hand, this entrepreneurial problem solving. On the other hand, it's also, for being a smaller firm in the larger context, we offer a lot of services, as going from stocks, precious metals, very traditional, but also we have now a technology company that is actually on the brink of really changing the world in the commodity space, specifically gold, and creating digital solutions for supply chains there. So we also have this broad array of services that we can pull from, and that really, I think, provides us with a very special mix of people and also service offerings.
Maybe going a bit deeper on the difference that you create in the market, where do you think you oppose with the industry leaders or with the peers that you see in your market segment?
So I think there the opposing really comes on the one hand on the entrepreneurial side that we bring to the table, really being problem solvers, where at the end this is not a solution where we go out and look, hey, where's there an open wide space in the market and we create a product. We create a product or solution for ourselves that we then open up to others. So this co-investment where everyone's really on board with us together. I think that's one angle, this entrepreneurial drive segment. The second part is the breadth that we can pull from the group, ranging from traditional finance, stocks, equities, experience with hedge funds, up to technology, where we have blockchain engineers working on the tech, and now specifically for digital assets, being able to combine this, but that also in an outfit, we're still we're large enough to deal with a wide array of challenges, but we're also small enough to be very nimble and move fast.
So what were your first action points in that endeavor?
So the first action point was actually one thing that you guys actually then suddenly popped in was this technology. Now specifically talking about the digital assets, it's so beyond for a lot of people, beyond for their reach, that accessibility is a huge, huge problem. In general, in alternative investments, accessibility is a big topic. And so there are funds out there are solutions there, but at times high minimums, a lot of paperwork. And what we really liked, when it came to the actively managed certificate is you have a bankable solution, because you have a lot of other problems to deal with. Then you're at least happy that on the client side they can pick up the phone, they can call the bank, they can give them the eyes in, and within a few minutes the trade is done and it's basically then booked into their bank account. So that was the first thing that we really came across, being able to provide this accessibility. And then the second thing when it comes to execution, especially here in the digital asset space, was again this risk enhanced access, because there's a lot of opportunities in this space, a lot is being built, there's a lot of goodness, but also a lot of risks. And so we have to create a solution that we came together where we're able to suck out as much as possible of that risk. And for us, this was through active management, by finding great hedge fund managers that actively participate in the space. We're also, through your help, we were able to, find some here, and then basically bring this solution together in this one-stop shop approach for a client to easily access.
Now, these are mainly institutional clients. What do you see on their side? Where is that opening up, and what are the responses there?
So on the institutional clients, I think it's a lot also education. That is maybe even going before the whole access part. It's a huge topic, especially in this realm, because a lot is going on, a lot is being talked, but people also need to understand. So also events like AssetRush, doing these videos, these are all small things that can really help along this educational journey. So that is a key aspect that I'm seeing within the digital asset space as one point. The next thing is security. It's a huge problem. How do you know your investment, your money is safe? And that requires institutional partners that can provide an institutional grade environment, like yourselves, working with other banks, with auditors, so on and so forth, really creating an ecosystem that can step by step make this whole space more secure for people.
So you think this is also a great factor for the growth creation in the sector itself? Is it also a chance for the investment world?
Yes, absolutely. Seeing, there's so much brain power moving towards this digital asset space, and also more, institutional providers coming up, providing these auxiliary services in custody, in security, in bankable products. Yes, I think that's also going to be in the whole infrastructure side. A lot of opportunity moving forward, and this will really help also move a very nascent market into a more mature phase, because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
So how will your ideas change the face of finance, the future of finance?
So first, already talked about creating this bridge for investors into this new technology. So now let's focus on technology, because in my personal view, technology always has and always will shape the future, and this also goes for finance. And if we look at finance now, blockchain as a technology stack coming in, and more specifically digital asset space, you have a wide spectrum, starting from very primitive solutions, payment solutions. If you look at a lot of developing worlds in the country, you have numbers of populations between 50 and 70%, they're unbanked. It's 2022 and these people are still unbanked. They don't have access to a financial system. There is not financial inclusion for them, which is very dampening for their personal outlook, but also for the economies they're living in. And that is something where this technology can really come in and play a role. That is on the one end. And on the other end, if you look a bit more futuristic, you have things such as gaming, huge sector already in the traditional markets. And then with crypto, you suddenly have things such as play to earn. I used to game in my days, I didn't get paid for it. Now suddenly you have new economies emerging from that, or the same goes into decentralized finance, where suddenly you, me, all of us, we can suddenly have this peer-to-peer approach in creating an economy and providing loans and doing a lot of the transactions usually banks would have done. And all of this is facilitated within technology. And yet again said, a lot of opportunities out there, but also risks. And I think what you and me have to do is create solid bridges for investors to participate in this world. Because it is quite a jungle out there.
So you think that these bridges provide the growth for the sector?
Absolutely. Now specifically talking about, again, digital assets, blockchain, the likes, I myself am a user. And I just, again, this weekend, it's a pain. It's obviously, so as much passion and love I have for this space, it really still is a pain. So this is not consumer ready. If you don't have, the energy and passion for it, you are not going to do it. And that's why exactly I do believe, people understand conceptually where this is going and the opportunities. But until, the technology is really catched up, where everyone can come in without, having to do a doctorate degree online to figure out how it works or really get into the weeds, I think the work you, me, and many others in the space are doing is going to help bridge this chasm until we get there.
I totally agree with you. I would say there were great solutions built for institutional investors in the last couple of years. And now we see a little bit of a, let's say, drawback in the markets. Any statement to that?
Yes, so now specifically crypto markets, although drawback, I think this is now not just crypto specific. There are not a lot of places to hide nowadays when it comes to investing. These, and this really has to do with that we are now kind of feeling the hangover of partying hard the last few years with, loose monetary policy, cheap money. We were all hoping that, we're not going to have a hangover. I think the hangover is here. So this is challenging across all the markets. And this has very much now also impacted crypto. But now on crypto side, I've seen a lot of these swings already. They're never fun. I would lie if I'd say they're fun. But I always have two hearts beating. The one heart, as someone operating this on a business standpoint, It's not good marketing, let's be quite frank there. But on the investor side, it's always, if you really believe in the space and you see the potential, well, now you again have an opportunity to buy at a discount. Not saying that, the discount can't go much further, but still it provides again opportunities. But what's important there, if you have the opportunities, you need to survive. There's no point in going in now hard and then going bust 3 months later. You have to survive. You have to have your checks and balances in place, be this as a private person or a professional person. But yeah, we're still going to have some rocky rides in front of us.
So you would say it's an opportunity as well, as much as a complicated situation, it also offers opportunity?
Look, out of all crises, opportunities are born. So there definitely is that element there. But again, buyer beware, be cautious, have your risk limits in place, and really look that you don't bet the house on it. And no matter what, because again, if you go bust, then you're not going to be there once the market turns. And that is an important part. And I think, also I just pulled the numbers that alone in this year, and this is again crypto specific, over 30% of the managers closed shop. So this is again, a signal where again, you have to watch out. Things can really go south here.
Yeah, this is certainly a big number and certainly something that can worry us. But on the other side, I would say before mass adoption, we saw in many, many markets that there were like washouts before that happened. So would you consider it a washout?
Oh yes, this is definitely happening now. It's again a clearing of the system, be it now specifically look in the digital space on the individual projects that are being run, or also now in the case of professional asset managers. The system is again being flushed out, and specific crypto, this happened in 2017-18. It's happening now, and you know what? This is not going to be the last time. There's still many more flushes to come because, as you say, we're still so early. And a lot of people, this notion that you can just take all the gains on the upside, but you don't want to take them on the downside. Look, there's no free lunch. And so I think that's also the notion where it's important to realize that volatility goes both ways, up and down.
Totally right. And that consolidation of the ecosystem sometimes can have something good for it.
Yes.
So in that sense, what would be your takeaway today?
So I think for people, I would say 3 things. First, be alternative, meaning think outside of the box, especially in investing. These classical 60-40 things with bonds and equities, they're no longer working. And so exactly, the alternative solutions you're offering, be open for that. And that's also my second point, be open, reserve the right to change your mind. If, for example, now let's say technology, you think blockchain, you think digital assets, this is all hokum, that's fine. But reserve the right to maybe a few years down the road to change your mind. And the third point is be cautious. Because again, there are a lot of risks out there. Don't bet the house. Make sure that you still survive, you're still around when this is all done and over.
So you would say consolidation, reconsideration, and focus are the 3 things that matter?
Well, consolidation, it's definitely driving up the focus on what is important. So from that angle, but I think it's really more be creative, be open. See, that there are a lot of solutions out there, and again, this is a very hard time. Not just crypto, this is all over the place. Very hard time, so many different levels, and I think that requires some creativity to stay ahead of the curve, and then just be cautious about what you're doing, and again, be ready to, I get proven wrong regularly, and then I reserve the right to change my mind and adjust.
Totally agree with that. So we look forward to a wonderful event at AssetRush. You're going to participate there, you're going to speak. What do you expect from the people there?
So I heard a full house on the first stand, and what I expect there is again another inch closer to education. I expect a lot of people coming who are, as we talk, they're really interested, they're seeing, they need alternatives. This can be private equity, this can be gold, this can be hedge funds, this could be digital assets, but really to experience what are the opportunities set out there and to discuss it through, and also expecting to really understand more what are the challenges people are currently facing, be it private, be on the professional side, what are they fighting with, and then to see, do we have a solution, can we help? Or is that a problem that is also, that's kind of grabbing us and that we can work on? So I hope a lot of learning and developing throughout.
I'm sure out of the over 800 people that attend, out of the 800 innovators and investors that will attend, we will have some great connections, great learnings, and also something to take away for the future. So thank you very much, and I look forward to see you at the AssetRush.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Philippe.